All right, welcome to our final Google Hangout for the Web 2.0 tools, powerful tools for teaching and learning course. I'm Dr. Susie Gronseth, and I will be leading this session. I have a question answer area on the side of the Hangout. So those of you who are watching live can submit questions and have conversation about our selected tool for this evening here in Doha, Qatar. It is 6:00 p.m. here. If you're watching from uh, Asia, Africa, Australia, um, it'll be somewhere around that time. If you are watching from the US, it might be morning time for you. If you're watching a recorded session, it could be any time of day. So welcome. I have the question answer portal open right now for those who are watching live, and you can submit your ideas for how to use our selected tool today, which is Symbaloo, and you can share where you're from. You can also share your ideas and where you're from on our events page. Feel free to post your comments there. Those will stay and others can see those on the events page. Even after our session is over this evening. Once we finish the session, we can continue the conversation on our forum, the Google Hangouts forum within our course. Our course is only going to be going on for a few more days. We are almost at the end. So let's have some good conversation in the time that we have remaining. There will be more powerful teaching and learning MOOCs through Coursera that we will do, that the Powerful Tools for Teaching and Learning team will do. So keep your eyes open for those coming soon. We will continue to offer some of these courses through Coursera throughout the years. So it's been a great experience, and I've enjoyed having so many people. Just being able to meet so many people through this course and to meet people from really all over the world. I'm here in Qatar this week. We've had people from Croatia, India, Vietnam, just Italy, all over. And so feel free to introduce yourself on the events page or in the question answer area and let me know that you're out there watching. All right, so tonight I want to show you, start off with a couple of things about Symbaloo, which is a social bookmarking tool. Essentially, it's more of a visual social bookmarking tool. Kind of like a little bit like Pinterest in that you can see images as opposed to a listing of links, but not so much like Pinterest and the whole repinning aspect. It's more about having a web mix, a collection of resources that you can easily share. And that's the key to a lot of these Web 2.0 tools is the collaborative aspect of being able to share. So you can easily import your bookmarks that you have in your web browsers. And when I say bookmarks, I mean the saved websites that you have. So if you saved the URL, the web address that starts with http://www.coursera, if you save that in your bookmarks in your browser, you could import that into your web mix, your Symbaloo web mix. So that's a bookmark. You can also search through Symbaloo and find web mixes on a variety of topics and that other educators have put together as well as other people. But I'm going to show you the education side so you can see specific resources for educators like us, or like ourselves. And you can also create web mixes. So I want to show you, just to kind of whet your appetite for this tool, show you something that we did a couple of years ago. I'm part of the International Society for Technology and Education. I'm on one of their boards, and that is an organization based here in the US, but really we have members from all over the world. So if you're interested in a professional organization that supports using technology in teaching and learning, check out ISTE. It's iste.org. And I'm part of one of their PLN groups, Professional Learning Network groups. We used to be called Special Interest Groups, but now we're PLNs, and it's the Inclusive Learning Network, ILN. And so we offer professional resources and events and conversations about, and advocacy about using technology support individuals with disabilities, who are gifted, who speak a variety of languages. So inclusive learning, being able to use technology to promote learning of all students and reduce barriers. And so we put together a hands-on event at the annual ISTE conference, excuse me, and we used Symbaloo to organize the bookmarks that we could share with the people that came through the conference. So let me share my desktop. I want to show you an example before we get into the features of the tool. So I'm going to share my screen. And first of all, I want to show you the handout. Okay, so you should be seeing the handout. This is the flyer for the hands-on event. We called it the Mobile Technologies UDL, which UDL stands for Universal Design for Learning. It's a framework of, for how to design learning activities so that all students can have access to them and be able to participate. You can search UDL if you're interested for more. And AT. AT is assistive technology. These are technologies that we use to support individuals with disabilities, specifically. Playground at ISTE 2013. So in our hands-on event, we created videos for each for each of the principles of universal design for learning, which are multiple means of representation, action, expression, engagement. That's not what's important here. But we had 9 areas that we wanted to focus on in the playground. So we had a video and a tool for each of those areas. And so we created a video playlist, but also a Symbaloo web mix, which you can see at the lower right of this image that I'm showing you here. And I created a shortened URL for it, the one that says http://goo.gl/3 But then I also created a QR code from that. And if you go to that web mix, so now I need to switch to a different window. So I'm going to share my screen again. And we need to go to, I believe, this window here. Okay. And if we go here, here we go. So yes, you should be seeing the web mix that we created for this professional learning event, our UDL playground. And so this is a Symbaloo web mix on the education side of Symbaloo. So at the top, you see each of those areas, and each of these are a video. So it's just a link, but it's more of a graphical way to share the links. So I click, well, if I hover over it, you see that it says UDL Guideline 1 and Voice Stream. So it gives me the name of it. If I click on it, it opens up, and I'm still in that Symbaloo web mix. So it's embedding the video, and I'm not leaving, but it's a YouTube video, and I could go ahead and start it. And it might take a second to load here, but it brings the viewers, the people who come to the event, it brings them to the video. And so what we did at this event was we had individuals on iPads accessing the resources that we had created through the Symbaloo webmix, it was a great way to organize everything. So then they can just close out of that video, and then they can go to the tool that we talked about in the video and explore the iTunes or the App Store reviews of the tool, the description of the tool, and then we had the tools installed on the iPads. So let me close out of that. I had something pop up. So so that was a great way to organize everything. And then at the bottom, we've got video tutorials about each of the tools. And let me close out of that. And then in the very bottom row are some general resources related to UDL and our organization. So this was a great way for us to get those resources out to in-service teachers, teachers who are currently teaching in K through 12, higher education, corporate environments, and just be able to share this very easily. So you can go to this URL if you want to. It's edu.symbaloo.com/home/mix/UDL playground, and I will put that on our events page. So I'm going to stop screen sharing here. Hello, I'm back. I'm going to put that URL on the events page so that you can check that sample web mix out. Let me find the events page. Here we are. Okay, so here we go. Sample Symbaloo web mix. And it should show up on our events page. So this is just an example to whet your appetite for Symbaloo. Now let's get into what is Symbaloo. And I want to show you a resource. I'm going to share my screen again. And now you should be seeing the Symbaloo Manual 2014 PDF. It's only 9 pages, which that's a good sign, and it's very visual. As you look through here, it's not a whole lot of text. It's very visual. So in 9 pages, they can pretty much show you everything about the tool, which is kind of cool. But I just want to show you a couple of things, and then we'll get into how to use it. You can group tiles. You can change the color of the background of tiles so that you can organize them. You can create a marker to highlight tiles. And there's a search feature to add favorite websites. You can click the eye on the keyboard and hover over a tile for information. And you can move tiles around. So once you put them somewhere, it doesn't mean that they're set there forever. Oh, and one more thing. You can link a tile directly to another web mix. So even though you might see 52 boxes on your web mix, that doesn't mean you're limited to just that, because you can reorganize the links into sub web mixes, and then link the sub web mixes from the main web mix screen, as you can see here. So for example, there's a web mix that they have that you can't see, but they're linking to it on this button here. So that's kind of cool too. So there's 6 chapters to this little user guide. Symbaloo is free, and there are a lot of features on the free account. It's not as limiting as some of these other tools that we've seen, that might limit you to like 3 of whatever you're creating. Symbaloo, you can get a lot out of the free version, but there is a premium version as well. Start out with the free one. And there is an EDU Symbaloo, and there's a regular Symbaloo. And even though you can use your login for either one, it tends to bring you to the Symbaloo that you created your account on. So for instance, before they had the education version of Symbaloo, I had created a Symbaloo account. And I used that login information to log into the Symbaloo EDU, and it brought me to the regular Symbaloo side. So it didn't say your login doesn't work. It just brought me to the regular Symbaloo side. And when I tried to create an account using my same UH email, University of Houston email address that I had for my Symbaloo, my regular Symbaloo account, when I tried to create one on the education side, it said that that username was already taken. So I had to create another account with a different email address, and then I was able to log into the education side. So that's they are separate, but I see that the features are pretty similar. There are some additional class type features for the education one, but I don't really have a whole lot of time to get into that. I just want to show you the basics of Symbaloo because that's mostly what I found that I use. They talk about how to set it as your home page. So you could use Symbaloo as just a starting point for all of the websites that you visit regularly. So your school website, your professional organization website, search engines that you might use, Web 2.0 tools that you might use on a regular basis. And you could just set that as your home page and click off of there instead of trying to access a whole list of bookmarks. But you don't have to set it as your home page. It shows you how to create a tile. I want to show you how to do that myself, how to create web mixes, how to group things. So how to share, and that's really important. But I want to walk you through it myself. But I just want to show you that they do have this manual, and you can go back and after this session and refer to that. And I want to show you where you can access that. So let me go back to the Hangout. And I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen again, and yes, this is the right one. So I want to show you kind of the difference between the two. What you're looking at right now is Symbaloo.com. So get a feel for the interface here. We've got web mix tabs across the top. We've got my web mixes that you can hide or show clicking on the menu. And it shows you there, has the option to add a web mix, has options to share. If I click the share area, has a way to search for tiles, etc. And now I'm going to click on the tab, and now we're at edu.symbaloo.com. And you can see that the interface is still very similar. The only difference is that we've got some EDU teachers and EDU tools, but these are just web mixes that they're providing their educational content. That's really all it is. The biggest difference I've found is the ability to search for web mixes that relate to education. So let's stay in the EDU side, and I'll show you how to do that. So I click over into the menu, and I click Add a Web Mix. Okay, now you can see there's two sides to this Add a Web Mix. We can search for a web mix in the Symbaloo gallery, or we can add an empty web mix. So let me show you how to search for one. Let's search for one that's Web 2.0. So we're looking at their gallery. This is their their collection of public web mixes made by other users in Symbaloo. And I searched by using the search Web 2.0. So if you wanted to find new Web 2.0 tools, this might be another way to expand your Web 2.0 knowledge. is by looking for a web mix. These are curated resources. These are tools that somebody has already said, hey, this is really valuable for teaching and learning, and added it to their web mix. So they've done some work for you. And you can see how many people are using this web mix. This first one, that's Bloom's Web 2.0, this is Bloom's taxonomy, the taxonomy that talks about the different levels of understanding. So are you able to synthesize the information versus do you just have a knowledge of the information? Are you able to apply it versus just a comprehension? So Bloom's taxonomy of Web 2.0 tools. There's also one for K through 5. That would be like year 1 to year 6 if you're on the British curriculum. So a lot of different versions of Web 2.0 tools. So let's look at that Bloom's one since it's at the top. And you can even see where the web mixes come from. A lot of these are coming from the US, but they come from really all over the world. So this one was last updated 2012, so it's a couple years old. Might not be the best one. I see a typo here, so maybe it's not the best one, but we can take a look at it. Let's add this web mix. Okay, so as you saw, might not have seen, but when we were viewing it, when we were previewing it in that previous screen, we didn't actually see the entire web mix, but now that we've added it, we've got a whole big web mix here. So the top row, she's organized them. It looks like top row has got a brown background, second row has an orange background, third has a blue, etc. Looks like there's a couple of blank tiles for some additional tools that can be added. But yeah, there's a couple of tools that I recognize. We've got Prezi here, Jing. We've got Delicious. Delicious is another social bookmarking tool. Glogster, Wikispaces, Animoto, some good stuff. Wordle, Symbaloo. Very good. Okay, so that's how to add one that's already been created for you. So now if we wanted to add one that's an empty web mix. So I'm going to call this Web 2.0 tools. And I'm going to add. So it's blank. And as I put my cursor over a tile, it says add new tile. So all I have to do is just click that. And I can either create a tile by putting in the address of a tool. So maybe I want to add, how about Padlet? And then the name of the tile, Padlet. And then it searches for you. You can change the color. So maybe for these communication tools, I want them to be, I don't know, blue. And then I can change the text color if I wanted to. And it searches for and finds icons, or I can upload it my own image. But I'm just going to choose an icon that they provide, and I click Save. And there we go. So now if I click that, it opens it up in a new tab and goes to Padlet. Very good. So I want to show you another way to add a tile is to search for a tile. Because this tool has been around a little while, a lot of the resources that you add, somebody's probably already added. So another tool that I might want to add to my Web 2.0 tools, I use VoiceThread a lot. So I look for VoiceThread. There it is. Done. I click on it just to check to make sure they had it correct. And now we're at VoiceThread. Let's do that again, because that was a lot of fun. Search for a tile. What's another tool that we've used? How about real-time board? they don't have it. Interesting. So I can add it myself. Copy the link. Create it. Oh, there we go. We'll put real-time board. And you can move the selection and save it. Okay. So that's the basics of really adding new tiles. And there's a way to import your links, and you can do that. Look through the manual on how to do that. Before we go, I want to talk about the share. So right now, let's look at the share WebMix window. The WebMix name is Web 2.0 Tools. I give it a description. This WebMix contains links to popular Web 2.0 tools for teaching and learning. It provides some related words or tags you can add to that. Share it publicly or share it privately. If I click Share it publicly and share my WebMix, on the right side of this dialog box, which, yes, you should be seeing, there's the link. So I will put that on our page, and I can also share it or embed it using the information that they have here. So they make it really easy to share. So I'm going to go to our event page, and then go and share it there. So you can see that it's an edu Symbaloo because it's got edu in the name. And I put it on our events page. All right, are there any questions about this tool? We have a few minutes to discuss, or ideas for how, if you use it in your class, that you want to share. I'll give you some time to post your questions or your ideas. While we're waiting, I can show you a few more examples of how I use Symbaloo. I have some examples from my students pulled up that I had ready to share. So if we go back to my browser, here we go. In a couple of the courses that I teach, I have an assignment where students collect resources related to a specific topic, and they create social bookmark collections using Symbaloo, using Delicious, using live binders. They have a choice of those, and there's a few other social bookmarking tools that they can choose among. And so this is an example from one of the students that created some web mixes on different topics related to the course. The course is about how to use technology in HRD, Human Resource Development. So this student has tagged resources related to Instagram in the classroom, Facebook, and they've titled this web mix education, let's see here, education technology, I believe. And we talk about social media and teaching and learning in this course, so the things that they have added here are great resources related to that topic. And then They also created a web mix on human resource technology. So technologies that are being embraced in the human resources area, and tagged a bunch of articles and ideas related to that. And then they have a page for advancements in using technology and human resources. And then finally, implementing the technology in human resources, and a lot of articles and case studies related to that. So you can see how the student organized it by having separate web mixes, and then by having different color backgrounds for each of the tiles. And they created their own tiles and put the names of what they wanted on the resources there. So that's just a quick example of how one other way that you could do it in the class. So you could have your students look for or organize information related to a project if they're working in a group, and they can post all of their resources in one web mix and submit that URL to you. You can organize the resources for your students and share the URL. And you saw how I was able to turn that into a shortened URL using the goo.gl URL shortener and a QR code. So, the possibilities for sharing are really limitless when you do that, because you can put the QR code somewhere in the classroom, and then students with a mobile device can scan it and access the resources. Parents can scan it if you have it in a newsletter, put it up on a PowerPoint slide. Really, the possibilities are endless. So Symbaloo has been around quite a while, and you can search online for more ideas. There's a lot of ways that you can use this tool. Oh, great. We have an idea from LF Therna Katerina. An idea is to gather bookmarks about a topic and give the Symbaloo link to the students in order to help them do the assignment. Thank you for submitting that. Before I sign off, I'm going to check the event page and make sure I'm not skipping over any other ideas. Oh, here we go. We have a question from Nat Sterland. If you embed a board and edit it on Symbaloo, does it automatically update, or do you need to re-embed it? I would guess, and I might need to test this out, but I would guess that you don't need to re-embed it, that it's just linking to your board, and if you change it within your account, that it would change it to any place that's embedded, like a blog or a website. That would be my guess. I haven't tried it out lately. Like I said, I've had my account for quite a while and used it in a variety of ways. But I think that you don't need to re-embed it. But if somebody wants to try that out and confirm for me, that would be great. But thank you for the question, and thank you for the idea. And with that, we are out of time. So let me go back to my Hangout and stop sharing my screen so I can tell you goodbye. And thank you for joining me. It's been a wonderful 5 weeks. It's gone by so fast, and hopefully I will see you in our next Powerful Tools for Teaching and Learning course, and we can continue learning about how to use these tools in our teaching and improving the effectiveness and the efficiency and the engagement in our classes. All right, so long.